Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Mary Magdalene. It stars Rooney Mara, Joaquin Phoenix and Chiwetel Ejiofor, and it's directed by Garth Davis, who directed Lion last year, very successful film. And after watching this, I really want to see it because I haven't seen it as of yet. This is really the story of Mary Magdalene, and it follows her humanizing her, not as some sort of mythical character or something like that. Like, they humanize her and take a different approach to her. Like, she was always known as a prostitute and all that sort of stuff, and was a temptation for Jesus. But in this film, they really humanize her and look at her as a person, not as an idea or whatever they made up her to be. And it's sort of like, to begin with, it sort of follows her early life, where she's living in this village with her family, and they want her to be married with kids, but she doesn't want that. She wants something different. She doesn't believe she's made for that. She's made for something else. So they start to believe that she has a demon within her because she doesn't follow the rules of everybody else, of what she's told she's meant to do. She's a free, trying to be a free thinker and a free person, rather than just a woman or a mother or a wife. And there's a scene in there where her brother talks about she's allowed to pray at home and she's allowed to pray at church with her family, but she can't pray by herself, which is bizarre to us as people these days, but it's crazy the way women were treated back in those days. And because of this, they send for Jesus, who is, giving his, sort of talks and teachings in the area, and he comes to see her. And he lets her know that she's not filled with a demon, that she just has different ideas of things. And the scenes between Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mara are really fantastic, very powerful. Two really great actors, and it's good to see them bouncing off each other in these scenes. Ultimately, she turns her back on her family and decides to follow Jesus and become one of the apostles. Now, that's something I didn't realize she was an apostle. That's something we've been told that she wasn't. They're all men, but she actually was an apostle who followed Jesus and really believed what he was saying and understood where he was coming from in a way, and knew this was her calling and she had to go. The other apostles, being all men, are a bit funny towards her, as men do, and a bit not sure of her and her place within this, and feel he's being affected by her. So maybe that's where all the sort of bad things for Mary Magdalene came from, her being a prostitute and all these variety of things based upon their feelings of the situation. And it follows her story all the way up until Jesus' death, and then afterwards, and then what she does after that. What I really loved about this was it shows a strong, free-thinking, powerful woman in a man's world, and she's trying to, be herself, trying to abide and do what she feels is right. And Rooney Mara is really great in this. She does a really great performance, and she's a really great actress. And it's good to see her get a variety of different roles and to show her talent and her ability to do so much with so little, or saying so little. The same as Joaquin Phoenix. He's really brilliant at that as well. So he carries his whole emotion on his face. And like I said earlier, the scenes between Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mara are fantastic to watch. Just these two really great actors bouncing off each other. And they're giving it all in there. And there's fun little moments within that. And it's just great to see these actors do really, powerful performances with each other. And Chiwetel Ejiofor is brilliant. He's a brilliant, underrated actor. He's been doing great work for many, many years. And he plays one of the apostles in this and does a really great job. He sort of doubts her place in the followers of Jesus, who they call him Rabbi. And there's so much fear for them, and there's talking about keeping him safe and doing all these things where, they portray Mary Magdalene sort of gets it. She understands where it's coming from and what he's going for. And it's a great example of people taking like a story or an idea of things and saying this person said that when they never actually said that. It was just your own interpretation of what this person was teaching. And I think a lot of based upon this movie anyway, a lot of the apostles didn't quite understand what was meant, what he was meaning, what Jesus was meaning, what he was saying, what he was trying to do. And it really takes a look at Judas as well. And, we know the story of he betrayed Jesus, but we don't really know why. There was nothing really about it. There's all this talk about him being paid to do and all that sort of stuff. This film really looks at, he's disappointed and Jesus doesn't do what he expects him to do, and so he feels that if he turns him in, he will have to do it. He will have to show these miracles and change the world. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, and it looks at that. I suppose I'm not trying to give too much away, I guess. But yeah, it does look at the idea of people creating what they think is a reality and what actually is reality, and that it's about the person within, bettering the person to better the world. Not one man's going to, say one word to God and then everything's going to change. It wasn't sort of like that. And I like this concept. I like this idea, and that sits better with me. I don't know how historically accurate the film was, but I really like the portrayal of Jesus and what they were trying to say within it. It was really nicely shot. There's some great scenes in it. It's all done from Mary Magdalene's point of view. So you do see bits and pieces of the crucifixion, but not everything, because it's from her point of view. And she never loses faith in him, and she follows him no matter what. And she knows this is her calling. And that is such a powerful thing for someone to understand or know what their calling is or what they're meant to do in life. And it makes those scenes all the more powerful to see these two, her expressing that and trying to find that. And the other thing I found kind of interesting is everyone has a sort of Middle Eastern accent, except for Joaquin Phoenix. He has his American accent, but it sort of works for him. I think he may have felt better of doing his own accent to try and portray this than trying to do an accent and remember his lines and do all that sort of stuff at once. It's a very powerful story, and it had an effect on me. It really did. Not that I'm a Christian or a strong follower of God, but just the idea of someone having belief and the power of belief and the power of seeing these things unfold and the miracles, as they say, of Jesus and that, just the power of life. And anyone who's has any sort of faith, you should definitely see this film. It's very worth your time, and it's interesting to see. You may, even if you have different faith to what they're talking about, to me you can understand your faith within that. It's quite a powerful film in that regard. Final verdict, I thought this was really, really great. Powerful, bold, an interesting retelling of a story we have heard before, but not the Mary Magdalene story. I did hear a reviewer say, or read a reviewer saying that this is familiar territory. We've seen this before. Yes, we have seen the Jesus story before, but we haven't seen Mary Magdalene, not like this anyway. We haven't seen the power of who she was and what she meant to Jesus and what he meant to her. So to me, this is a fantastic film, and I will give this 4 out of 5. I think it's really powerful and very well done. My only criticism of it is that I felt at the start they should have gone through a bit more and of her and why she decided to follow Jesus and why she turned her back on her family and why they felt she was filled with a demon, as they put it. It was really interesting to see that sort of side of things and whether that's true, and I wanted to see a bit more of that. It just sort of threw you into it, and that would have been a little better, I felt, and that would have bumped it up for me to 4.5. But look, don't get me wrong, it is a great film and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.